but I never really felt like it was like a spectacular like playmaking Chen. It was more just it fit into the overall draft and strategy where they want to be able to push and pressure towers early. Maybe they try for something more like IG-esque with the DK Enchantress, perhaps, but I feel like they really need to be on the offensive against EG. We talked about them looking a little reactive that game, and to me, Rave is a team that they need to be ahead early to have a shot against EG.
All right, well, Game 2 draft has begun, guys. Let's get into it. Game 2, Evil Geniuses versus Rave.
Seconds remaining.
And EG, they banned it in Game 1. Synd, Beastmaster getting first picked.
Yeah, this time they replaced... Wait, what were their bans?
Drought ban now.
Were they Gyro Beast in Game 1?
Yes.
Okay, so first overall pick Beast, yeah. No surprise seeing Rave banning out Chen and Visage against Aoi. It's two very good bans against EG in general.
I mean, it does... in some ways, I guess it's good preparation for EG going into a potential match versus Cloud9, assuming they go on to win this, which is probably what most of the viewers are thinking, is get used to treating Beastmaster as a very priority ban and pick. So you don't want to give it away to Cloud9, you're going to ban it first phase, you want to pick it, or you're going to pick it right away if you first overall pick. And Rave, right back to the Tiny Wisp, but again, I feel like this is where maybe they want to change it up and not actually run the duo mid, try and catch EG off guard with that Bristleback Wisp or some sort of other partner, or just unconventional lanes in general, an aggressive tri-lane, something like that.
I think they leave it open as to where it's going to go in the sense that it forces EG to pick a mid-hero like a Magnus or something that can actually lane against Wisp Tiny. You need something that's a bit more tanky, durable, that just spams out either like a Magnus Shockwave, a Brewmaster with Clap, a Dragon Knight with Breathe Fire, something tankier that can survive and just Bottle Crow to farm. And that's something which it limits Sumail's hero pool because you've got this Wisp Tiny there, which I think is an okay move for Rave to make.
Yeah. I was considering if EG wanted to maybe put the Beastmaster mid because he can actually just farm with Wild Axes, but to me that's not a Sumail hero at all. I feel like that's just not a good player-hero combination. So the thing when EG opens with this is that this almost 100% is a Universe Beastmaster, I guess. Unless they have started putting Sumail on the Beast. I can't remember seeing it before. Maybe they've done it once, but...
I mean, maybe they've been scrimming. Who knows?
Oh, that's a change of pace.
Huh.
That's a very early Lesh pick. He can stand against Tiny Wisp. Just farm with Lightning Storm.
I think teams are mostly kind of running the core Leshrac more than the support Leshrac.
Yeah. This, I am 90%
especially if
sure
you're
this
first
is a
to
core.
picking it, yeah.
I was also 90% sure it was a core Lina, so I was probably just wrong.
All right, so we know now whatever you say, just go with the opposite.
I'm like...
I mean, I guess we always knew that, right?
I'm like, in the lack of slacks, I'll take the slacks roll.
The lack of slacks. I like that.
Is there action lack?
I really do want to see a core Lesh, though. I think that hero has so much potential.
Yeah.
We haven't... Have we seen, like, a super stacked Leshrac with Octarine items anytime recently?
There was... How didn't get to that stage on day one, but I think he wanted to. Or no, that wasn't day one. Yeah, it was. It was day one against Cloud9. How played the Leshrac core in one game, but yeah, I don't remember how many items he got. I think he got like... That game was like 25 minutes maybe, so I don't think Octarine core was...
That was the game with the Alchemist on his team.
Yeah.
That was where Alchemist just wrecked everyone, yeah.
But yeah, Octarine core definitely an item you will see on Leshrac in, I guess, 9 out of 10 cases nowadays that will be a part of the build. Very, very good for both Lightning Storm and...
The Bloodstone is also... do you replace the Bloodstone completely,
you
though?
get both, I think.
Yeah, that's say I don't think you can... The short respawn on Bloodstone is so amazing. I mean, everything about... I think... What, Bloodstone first, you'd say, or...?
Yeah, it's a great farming item. The, Octarine core, the problem with that build-up is that it's really, really expensive, and sure, Soul Booster gives some decent mana regen, but it doesn't compare to that of a Bloodstone.
Yes.
And if you're playing a coreless rack, you want to kind of... It may sound weird, but you actually want to kind of play a coreless rack to an extent like an anti-mage. You want to push out the lane, then you want to clear the entire jungle and just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bloodstone probably the first item the vast majority of games as a core. If you're having a slow start, maybe you make adjustments, but this is a core that should be getting ahead early on.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's interesting. EG banned that Darkseer out. Interesting.
Yeah, so the Leshrac against IO Tiny is pretty cool because he can do fairly well in lane with Lightning Storm, I guess, but as far as the mid game goes, you generally like Leshrack's biggest weakness is people who come up close and personal and just blow you up really fast, and that's where
Tiny
Blink Dagger
Lion
Tiny
Wisp, yeah, that's in your face.
is really good. So we'll see. Maybe Sumail, if he is playing Leshrack, we obviously don't know yet, might go for a little bit of an alternative build. I actually think a really good item in this game for EG already is the Glimmer Cape, either on Leshrack or on another hero on their lineup.
Yeah.
It mitigates the tiny combo so nicely.
And the finger as well, which is all their damage through the first 20 minutes or so. Looking at EG here, we see the Beastmaster. Is this where like a Visage is a possibility for them? They're going to go into Venge now.
No,
so
Visage was first face banned.
Oh, he was. You're right.
Yeah. It
And
would be shocking if it got this far.
Yeah,
the way
that's
that's
Beastmaster Visage. That's something we've seen from Empire. Haven't gotten to cast them yet myself, but it's been devastating when they do get to run it. So yeah, Venge coming out now. Where are EG headed with this?
Some sort of physical damage core.
Yeah.
Kind of what it suggests.
This used to be like the old school Aura strat where you get Beastmaster and Venge, you have the plus damage, you have the plus attack speed, you have the minus armor, and you kind of 5-man Deathbolt push with like a Chen and some kind of physical damage carry. But yeah, Luna was really common back then as well. Gyrocopter, decent, but
Ooh.
I think EG are just more pushing rather than getting pushing around their spells and their
With this pick,
nukes.
for sure. Before the Undying pick, maybe they could have gone another direction, but now they really lay their cards on the table.
And with the Leshrack as a core, you can't really fit in that physical damage carry unless you're running it mid, I guess.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, unless they their Beastmaster we talked about, unlikely to go mid.
Yeah, offlane beast, mid, and then a tri-lane.
You could-
or safe lane beast, and aggressive tri-lane.
Aggro tri-lane, and
10
then
seconds remaining.
yeah, get like even like a Clinks or something again if you wanted to.
I mean, this
But-
is all assuming they don't just run the Beastmaster mid, which they could do. He's one of the better heroes against Tiny Wisp out of what they have available.
Or they just do the classic EG thing, and they run Venge carry and Kunkka Undying support. duo.
That is an old school EG thing.
The Kunkka Undying is...
Kind of dying.
It's
I think the DK
definitely
could
not
ban,
old school,
yeah.
Definitely not that.
The
No,
DK's
the
the kind
carry
of
Venge is pretty old school.
Yeah, that's
there was a
cool.
period where Havos was doing that quite a bit as well.
And Fear has played that.
Yeah.
I doubt that's the idea.
I do like the Dragonite ban. I was thinking something similar.
yeah.
It kind of fits all of EG's needs right now. Gives them a little more late game, pushes hard, difficult to burst against Tiny Wisp, and can be a frontliner for
There's
them.
your mid hero who could benefit quite a bit from those auras too.
Yes.
Yeah. The hero that always comes to mind that maybe as a substitute is Brewmaster, which Sumail plays.
10
If
seconds
EG even had a hero like that in mind.
I think Lion one of the better supports to deal with and shut down that brew, but you do have the Venge to back him up a bit.
Lion just shuts down everyone with the Hex.
Yeah.
Interesting. Razor. Hero we haven't seen that much, but...
Normally we see him as the counter to a strong melee DPS hero, which EG don't really have right now.
Does his ult... How is it? The Razor ult with Ags still doesn't hit the Tombstone, but the Razor ult does hit zombies if there's nothing else in the neighborhood, right? And then it one-shots them. No, it doesn't anymore, I guess.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't think
I'm
so.
not sure,
It shouldn't, I guess. So.
because it's supposed to be an
5
attack.
seconds remaining.
So
And I had
In theory, it shouldn't.
another question, which is like, do you know how? Okay, this sounds like the most random and most useless thing ever. If Tiny is under a Tombstone effect, right, and the zombies spawn on him, are they always like almost underneath him? So if he tosses, he will always toss a zombie, because now it's the closest unit and not a random unit.
That's a good.
Like
point.
then if a team fight breaks out around the Tombstone,
yeah.
he actually can't toss a hero ever until he kills the zombie, and then a new one spawns every time. I don't
Well,
know.
EG
Alright.
mixing up their picks, going to be running a Wind Ranger mid.
that's going to be really funny looking if he's throwing the zombies.
Yeah.
Wind Ranger, Core Wind Ranger at that. Core Wind Ranger has gotten a lot of buffs over the past few patches, with the Ag Scepter upgrade in particular a lot more viable nowadays. Shackle Shot got an improvement a patch or two ago where, what was the change exactly? Like was it the cone got widened slightly, or it changed the way maybe it changed the way it decides how the shackle is formed? I remember it got buffed, so it's easier to hit a shackle though.
It got longer latch range.
Longer latch range, that's what it was.
So last patch was cast point halved
Yeah.
from point 3 to point 15, and then it was longer latch range, and I think before that it was the search
10
radius.
seconds
Okay.
remaining.
That's something.
So
Like, been
basically, it's
buffed.
gotten easier to hit shackles.
Yes,
is
definitely.
the layman's version.
The thing that seems to be happening as well is players are figuring out the new way which you can play. You don't have to go for the Blink or Force. I think it's Pycat who's been playing with Alliance and just rushing Ag Scepter and then going Daedalus. Just pure physical damage with entirely skipping mobility tools.
And that was...
Prepare for
In that
battle.
game, he dealt ridiculous damage, but now you also have a Vengeful Aura, and you have Inner Beast, which doesn't really matter for Focus Fire, but in between is kind of nice. So
Yeah, they've got great lockdown as well. Beastmaster, Venge, Leshrac. May still go. I think Blink's still a
It is
viable
going to be a
option.
2-1-2, and it's not going to be Sumail and Beastmaster, though, but they're going to run what looked like the strongest lanes as far as the heroes go, and they do it by swapping Sumail into the off lane, and I think these lanes look very solid for EG here.
I like that they're willing to change up the lanes and not just be one-dimensional where Sumail's always going mid. It just gives you that bit of flexibility within your team.
Comparing it to the old EG, like Arteezy was mid pretty much every game. I'm hard-pressed to recall a time where he wasn't. And almost always on very similar
30
heroes, those
seconds to battle.
more carry-oriented mids. So, as you mentioned, it is a departure from the old EG.
Okay.
That is an interesting stat.
Games where both teams produce Radiant or first pick.
okay. I guess first pick is the one that was chosen most, or was it? It didn't say that there. But
It's early in the morning, and I was still like trying to figure out what that's why I was like silent for a
that
minute
one
from me.
wasn't really.
I'm just like
Rockets.
thinking. I'm like, wait, what? Huh?
Wait, who got? They got both runes or one each? One each. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a bottle for Chrissy. Already moving out the Cur. Classic start for Wisp. Get
Yep.
the bounty rune and take the bottle.
Did they break down the trees, did we see?
It's the Radiant side. No.
No.
Can't get that double pull off. At least not right now. But bottle coming out. So Universe going to get somewhat zoned out here, but he should at least be able to leech experience in the mid lane. He got a bounty room, which also really helps him out. It's going to be a similar kind of approach to the Magnus. Just sit back, spam your axes in this case, and
And Beastmaster's pretty tanky again, so I think this is where you need to be breaking those trees and focusing more on your economy.
so both teams kind of running 2-on-2s. Wisp
Oh,
is
he
going for a
is.
Courier Snipe mid.
Might actually get it, too.
Yeah,
This
he's-
is not something you're
oh,
going to
boy.
expect as the mid Beastmaster. Chrissy, 2 Courier Snipes, 2 games in a row for this guy. My.
Did he?
Wait, how did he even get in
did
there
he
when they
he
have
didn't
the
have
lane
a
ward?
smoke. He
They
just
have
walked
a
past
ward.
a ward.
Yeah.
He actually just ran up there. That's just an oversight on Universe's part. He actually did have a chance to see that.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time.
And even if he just sees the Wisp missing, it's not like Wisp is getting a rune or stacking. You look at
It's
the
the
timer.
1 minute mark, yeah.
Yeah, it's 1 minute into the game. He's not stacking. He's not getting a rune.
And that's
What else is he doing?
one of those things that might not have happened if it was Sumail mid. Because he's
Exactly.
just used
Yes.
to these tricks. In Universe, how often does he play mid? Never.
Basically.
So
Oh, yeah. Courier Snipes, all the mid players look out for. There was a game where Bounty Hunter was picked yesterday, and the mid hero, it was Fata playing. He camped the Courier with his bottle at his tier 3 tower and waited until he had to go. He was Dragon Knight, waited until he walked back to his tier 2 tower and like met it halfway between the tier 2 and tier 3. Mid players just like do not let their Courier get sniped at all. They're always watching out for it.
we're saying that after Sumail did get it sniped last game. But that was less
that
obvious.
was a very
That wasn't-
unusual situation.
That was
with
not
the-
really a Courier snipe. That was more like a miss micro kind of thing. Like that wasn't like the sneaky like let's go between the towers.
Uh-oh, Ryo charging onto PPD. They tried to finish off the cow, but he has backup from Chrissy, making plays all over the map for his team. If they get a bash here, this could be the death of fear. Orbs coming in, one more
He doesn't
auto
even
attack.
need the
That's all they
bash.
need. They get him too. Rave, Courier Snipe, 2 kills.
Choo choo. Right.
What a way to start.
It's same as last game though. They've got to transition to the mid game off of this, which is where they've proven to not sometimes even struggle. I would say.
Uh-oh, Ninja Boogie. Got to be a little careful here. That Beastmaster can turn this with the board pretty easily, but low on mana right now. That's actually the main issue. He may just have to kind of wait for the Courier to respawn and pray for a lucky rune of some kind.
So
But
this
he's got
time
a
around,
minute to
Ninja
go.
Boogie on the Tiny. Last game it was Jo. They're really swapping things up.
And this is a nice thing about Rave's draft this time around compared to last game. Last game they had an offlane Night Stalker who does pretty well together with Wisp, but it's not Spirit Breaker tier. Those two heroes together is actually a disgustingly strong, just regular dual lane offlane to run. And having the option of just rotating Wisp up there and making that play is very important. And yeah, they're looking good so far. The Razor is getting shut down fairly well here by EG, but big farmer by quite a margin so far is going to be in the mid lane. Ninja Boogie's Tiny.
Well, Courier did respawn now, so Universe will have an easier lane moving forward. It'll come out and deliver some items to him. They are going to try to make a go on Sumail a bit. Starting to steal damage, but tries to walk away. Tombstone getting dropped. Jo will need to back off. May need to turn to kill a zombie or two as they claw their way in. Sumail trying to engage on a cast who is a bit squishy to all that auto attack damage. But that's where it'll end. Well, Tombstone now on cooldown, so Rave can breathe a little easier.
We're going to ping out the regen rune, but we're not going to get it. Universe will get this rune. Not using it yet. Going for the max summon build.
Seems like the build.
Yeah, it's
Don't
the
really
one,
see the aura build anymore.
It's the one used the most. As long as he can get last hits with level 1 axes, I think it's probably going to be more valuable.
What are you thinking here for Rave, guys? Should they be looking to move the Spirit Breaker around, go for some kills elsewhere? Are you content just sitting him top lane?
I think he's pretty good top lane. He just annoys the Venge, he forces the Venge to stay a bit there. And there's always that threat of, like, you get a bash or something, you rotate someone like Chrissy in, as we saw earlier, and you get kills again off of your lane.
Yeah, it definitely feels like EG are going to be more reluctant to dive him after the way the last attempt went.
The other option is you can, like, charge mid or something. Oh, there we go. He's charging mid. Universe, the one very vulnerable hero on the map.
Not even required. Tombstone has cooldown and will be deployed as Rave just scurry away. PPD trying to engage here. Turns back to hit a zombie. Tether's still going through. I was thinking, well, it'd be nice to kill Beastmaster before he hit 6, but they didn't even need the Spirit Breaker. They just get it done with Tiny Wisp. Really nice start here for Rave. They are getting out farmed pretty heavily, though. Looking at the CS charts for EG, this dual lane bottom has done a lot of early work.
Yeah. Jo is not having a good time.
But again, aggression. Fear will be the one that falls. Rave. Man, they are moving around beautifully, and this does kind of flash you back to when they were having a lot of success at DAC, where they were aggressive early, they would dominate the lanes, find those early pickoffs, and just look to snowball before their opponents
The
can come
IO
along.
having such an early earn as well really helps. That's extra damage when you go for kills, the heals which can heal up 2 heroes with a tether. That is just really nice to get those early kills mid lane to help Wisp get up to that level of farm.
I mean, we talked about in the pregame that Chrissy's individual play was one of the keys for them back when they were having a lot of success, and we were looking for it on a core, but he's doing it on the support Wisp. 2 courier snipes, multiple kills, early level 6 coming out. He is scouted here by a lane ward, though. Much needed for EG to avoid getting picked off or punished.
Do you think Rave are just okay kind of sacking their Razor as they're doing for now, Synd, or do they need to kind of give him some protection?
How can you adjust the lanes to get him a better start?
Yeah, you could rotate the Wisp down there to protect, but I think that's a waste, right? And
They're
play
trying to
aggressive
make
there.
it
They
go
can't
on
really
top,
kill
it
there.
looks like, with the charge from Ryo. They get the initiation onto Fear. Another Strike follow-up. He survives for now. Ryo gets roared under tower. Good stun coming out from Cass, but a better counter-initiating Shackle. The entire EG team into the top lane. Well, Rave didn't see that one coming, that's for damn sure.
That feels like the fight from last game that happened in the bottom lane where it turns everything around, which is the worry. Rave have to settle down after that. They still have I would say a slight early game lead here, and
It was a gigantic rotation by EG. You maybe expect 1-2 TPs, but I think that was, what, a triple TP coming to the top lane? That caught them a bit off guard.
damn, Secret kill a lot of couriers.
That's actually crazy.
They have almost...
Oh, nice
Ninja
Shackle.
Boogie getting caught out here. It's not a highly leveled Shackle, though. Tosses out the Avalanche, continues to retreat. Sumail engaging, can't finish him.
They need to get something out of this line. It was a very nice Earth Spike top, but it was too late. He's level 3 minute 8 in this dual lane. He didn't really provide Razor with much of a laning stage anyway. He's currently lowest net worth. They need to get, like, even if it's just 1 kill that Lion helps out with, it's going to help himself so much to get involved.
Top tower is under attack.
And maybe that's also going to be the key to getting Razor back in the game. Instead of just statically staying in a lane that you're losing, make space, go somewhere else, gank there, force the rotation from either the Undying or the Windranger, and suddenly Razor has the lane for a minute to get maybe 10 CS or something like that.
Yeah, he's getting a little more now in this bottom lane.
Yeah. And that's what ended up happening ultimately, right? It wasn't because Well, it kind of was Lion's rotation because I guess he was a part of the gank top. They did pay for it. But yeah.
Let's see here. Rave. Last game we saw the drums build from the Tiny, then into the Blink. And it looks like for now he's going to hang on to his gold, Ninja Boogie. He almost has the drums gold if that's what he wants. I feel like the early Blink could be very devastating here.
I agree.
Especially at the Spirit Breaker. You mentioned the Night Stalker last game is the big hero to set him up, and this time around he's got someone who's similarly effective in the early to mid game.
Just a relatively squishy EG lineup. A carry Leshrac, you've got a Wind Ranger, and easy squishy support in the Vengeful Spear. I guess the Beastmaster and Dying a little bit tankier, but once you get your level 9 combo, that's where Tiny can just find
tough,
kills
though.
on most
It
heroes.
is a little tough to go on EG, though. They're very good at counter ganking. They already have Swap online. Tombstone is just devastating if you overextend, and there's a lot of ways to cancel the charge. The Venge stun, the Shackle, the Roar, maybe the Lesh stun if you have some vision of him coming in. I feel like it's Rave on paper, great ganking lineup, but in practice, they really need that Tiny Blink to reliably start the fights. Or a Lion Blink, but that is going to be a ways off.
Yeah. Wow, Fear really doesn't have that much right
Radiant's
now.
bottom tower is
Yeah,
under
but
Like,
attack.
we were talking about how this hero really wants to snowball and scale very well, but
There's your first relocate for Rave. It's a nice takedown here top. Catching AUI out from the tower and very quickly bursting him.
Oh, he
and
come
Cast
EG
was
though.
involved.
Meanwhile, in the jungle, though, there's the stun on Cast. Follow up slow from Fear. They do get the Lion stun as he just gets right-clicked down by PPD. One more nuke will bring him down. Ryo able to TP away.
That was nice from EG. They knew the Wisp
TP
Tiny were about
bottom,
to
though.
relocate
But
out.
Sumail could be in trouble. Ava, toss, Spirits coming through the urn. He's done for and takes another strike just to ensure the kill. Rave just maneuvering very aggressively here. Trying to catch EG away from towers. That seems to be where they're strongest.
yeah, and more important than anything, just getting EG to spread out.
Yeah.
The only reason EG won that top fight was that they outnumbered them. I think if there are even numbers, even at 5-on-5, I would favor Rave right now, but if it's any sort of skirmish, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, or of course if they outnumber EG, I just don't see EG winning the fight. The only real key they have for that is probably the Tombstone. And, well, they kind of know where Undying is all the time, and they can just play around him.
Well, they're going to build towards the mech on Razor. They get the blink on the Tiny, and I really like this blink rush a lot better. I feel like it's something they were missing a bit last game. Let's see
Hiding
if
him for now. He's going for this kill on bottom lane.
It is
Or trying to find
it is
an opening.
daytime, though. Kind of tough to getting close to Sumail. Needs to come from the tree line. They're going to charge. Sumail, no turn to Shackle. He will tank that stun. Follow-up, bashed back, tossed up, and dead in the air. That is great movement by Rave. Now 7-4. They've got 4 of the top 5 farmers. They're really pulling ahead here on EG.
The Spirit Breaker's rich. He actually almost has a Shadow Blade minute 12.
He's more farmed than Fierce Leshrac.
Now the question is if this is Shadow Blade or
Under attack.
The Glimmer Cape?
a Glimmer Cape.
Yeah.
I think Shadow Blade's better. He doesn't have the mana to use a Glimmer Cape reliably. It's actually
That's
deceptively weak against EG's lineup. It's great against Leshrac, but that's it. Everything else is physical, more or less. Unless you want to count Soul Rib Power Shot perhaps, but a lot of their damage comes from boars, axes,
Another
zombies.
dunk, another kill, Rave. Man, they're braining it. But yeah, Shadow Blade combined with the Tiny Blixen, that feels like it could just... It could do what the Clinks did last game, basically, for EG.
Makes it so hard for EG to play because they can't see the charge ganks coming and TP in to react. You get hit by it, and then that hero is just instantly dead. So
I actually think Rave are further ahead in this game than EG were when they were ahead 9-2 in the Clinks game. It just seems like EG's lineup is not tailored for skirmishes at all, and it's all they're getting. Apart from that one fight top, they're just, you can see they're moving around kind of, they don't really know what to do. They might just try to gather up and go for a smoke now so that at least they have strength in numbers. And with the Leshrac,
Oh,
Yule's
man.
picked up, but I think
Ninja
they're too
Boogie getting
late
the
to
tower.
party.
He's got his drums now if he wants them. And he's just going to walk away. They smoke in, though. EG trying to find something here. Can they get that initiation? Universe gets revealed. The pings come out. They're ready for this. Roar can't get in range. They also have the mech and the tier 1 up. They do jump forward. Well, Ninja Boogie getting caught out a little bit. Now the swap. They get him back out of position. The Wisp not available to relocate him out. They find the most valuable kill in the end for EG.
And Wind Ranger gets the bounty as well.
Lion's still not 6. It's one thing Rave have been sorely missing this game in the
Is
first
that
13,
finger,
14
yeah.
minutes.
This is where Rave needs to be careful. This is the one good avenue of comeback for EG. Get a gank on a key target and then gather up and fight with the Tombstone. If Rave get a little greedy and try to 4 and 5 here, they end up losing a lot of heroes. And looks like they might want to try. Tiny is up in 5, yeah. This is a good timing to go in.
Yeah, both teams are getting like their team fight strong here. Tombstone, very good, but you've got the mech on Jo now.
Oh, they've already charged.
Now there's a finger.
Boogie shift queuing that blink as he TPs in, is going to find it. Avatos, 2-hero shackle. Now the axes, but a 3-hero charge! Follow-up stun, they bring down 2. Looking for the last, thrown in the air, smack down as he comes back to earth. What an amazing move by Ryo, and now he's going to find Sumail in the retreat out. Where you going, buddy? Nowhere fast. Rave, clean house, 4 fall. They'll get a regen rune on the Wisp, and they just completely shut down EG's go there.
This Spirit Breaker, Rio is just being bowling out of control.
That was a Spirit Breaker Ravage into a mini Ravage from Cast on the Lion. Oh my.
This tower is gone. They're probably going to be looking for the tier 1 top tower next. Just go back, spend their money, maybe pick up the 14-minute rune. I don't know if that's still there. I guess it was taken, but... This is the first game where Sumail has played offlane.
82.6%. Wow.
Or solo mid, so that means the rest were safe lane. He's played safe lane in quite a few games, and I guess mainly with his Queen of Pain or Storm.
Yeah, there's been games where Fear has gone mid for the team.
Yeah. He used to go mid a lot with when they were picking Puck. That was shortly after TI4 when he came back to the roster and replaced Mason.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Man, this does not look good for EG. As much as they were dominating game 1.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Reaver, can we have a close game, please?
No,
We had one yesterday.
It could be our first 3-game series.
That's true.
That would
So-
be okay. There's
That's
a
a
silver
start.
lining here, Synd, even if it is
That's
another
true.
potential stomp. But
And it's funny, we actually had a close game yesterday between, it was Secret and IG. That was such a close game and ended in 32 minutes. I mean, interesting stuff.
well, this one, although Rave are very far ahead, EG, this is kind of the stage of the game where a lot of these heroes shine. You've got the max level Tombstone. Universe has Roar, has the max Boar, I believe, and heroes like Lashrak, Wind Ranger have most of their key spells leveled up to the point where they do a lot of work. And Ryo got to charge right through the Hawk and just keeps on going. They get the initial bash on PPD, follow-up stun on Sumail, and he just tries to walk away from here. Retreating now. Will he make his way back? They roar him. They commit a lot, but he gets relocated out. Now the turn. Avatos bringing down 1. And EG
They're going to charge back in, I think.
unable to get anything out of that jump. They lose the bench. They may lose more. Here comes Ryo. 2-hero shackle, well done by Sumail. The Tombstone's there, they hold the line, but here comes the plasma field. Razor keeping Ryo alive. Finally they get him, but it comes with a potential dunk. Doesn't finish anyone, whips the avalanche. Universe desperately threading his way through the tree line, survives for now, and Ninja Boogie shackled up to a tree. Will go down. EG heavily outplaying Rave in this fight. They may lose Jo. No, the Wisp keeping him alive. Sumail, trapped out in the trees, is going to scurry backwards. They even buy back the Tiny just to try and make up for it. That was just EG outplaying Rave.
Absolutely. Considering how far behind they are, getting an exchange like this.
There's your toss, though. One more auto attack would do Sumail in. Can they get the auto attack?
Earn.
They get the earn charge. Rave, make it count. The tiny buyback didn't really get a
that
whole
win.
lot.
You got a
Win
win
rate.
range.
Yeah.
And a
Well, now it's
Okay.
worth it. All right.
Yeah.
With that kill, Ninja Boogie makes it a very good buyback.
I think as far as his personal economy goes, he would maybe be at like 8 to 8.5k net worth if he didn't buy back, but that hurts EG getting that extra couple of kills, especially the kill on Sumail. So I think the buyback worth it in the end.
Yes,
But
I agree.
you didn't know, like with EG, if they just completely backed off and managed to get Sumail out of there, then it would have been a big waste.
They're essentially trading a little bit of gold for map control. All this downtime for EG's heroes allows them to go and ward top rune with cast. They're free farming the top lane on the Spirit Breaker, so a little bit of gold lost for Tiny's, a little bit gold gained for the other heroes.
And this EG
on.
draft just feels like a draft that really wants to be ahead early. Getting the Undying support, someone that eventually Tiny and Spirit Breaker Razor, these heroes can just go kill the Tombstone quickly, or to some extent ignore it in the fights. Wind Ranger can scale pretty damn hard with the Aghanim Scepter, but at the same time, they have a lot of burst damage and lockdown for her. The Lion, the Spirit Breaker, even the Tiny with the Blink Dagger. It does look good for Rave now, but we have seen them somewhat struggle to maintain the advantage, as we saw in Game 1. Let's see if they can keep it together here.
EG are looking for a smoke gank here. Smoked up everyone else than Sumail, it looks like. It's going to be a big fight. I think it's EG's last smoke, by the way. I feel like they've been using a lot.
They've been using a lot, yeah.
This one kind of has to... Okay, they have 1.5 minutes.
Charge comes through, and Ryo kind of reveals that they do catch Jo off the bat. Stun only on one, but they finger Universe, try to focus him down. Ryo not able to kill him just yet, gets off. Oh, no earn charge, now healed up by the Undying. Great start to the fight for EG. They brought down 2. The Tiny... Is he going to be able to get much done here? Kind of sitting on the boundary of the engagement as AUI limps away. Now another stun. Shackle as well. EG finding the openings, braining down Ninja Bogey. It's an ultra kill for Fear. They'll clean up the creeps as well. And suddenly, he's got a Bloodstone, basically. Before that fight at 2,000 gold, now another 2,000 with the point booster and the Vit booster picked up. Yikes.
That was an odd fight where Ryo's charge actually ruined the entire smoke gank, and then he canceled the charge, I think. He didn't follow through to his target, and I think had he done that, they might have been able to take a better fight there. Just initiating with a little more confidence and then perhaps following through. Like, they had a lot of options of how to play that fight, and I think they chose the worst of them. They could have relocated behind EG when they smoked from the right, so they get a positional advantage.
Rave seem very uncertain about what they want to do in a fight. They're not choosing a target to focus.
Yeah.
I think they're over-prioritizing killing the Tombstone as soon as it's cast. Like, they want to kill the Tombstone, but during that time, all the EG heroes are getting off all their spells. If they can find a hero like Leshrac, burst down Leshrac, then worry about the Tombstone, I feel.
Well, now it gets hard, because now he's got the Bloodstone, and he gets a whole lot tankier.
It just feels like Rave are very scattered in these fights. Like, fingering one hero, Tiny going on another, and no one getting finished off. Universe got kind of comboed by the Tiny. For one thing, he didn't die. Even if he does die, he's already used his Raw, and I feel like he should not be really a priority for Rave in any sense.
And if you don't focus, then the Soul Rip just ruins your team fight. That fight you mentioned, he got pretty low from the finger. They Soul Ripped him. He was suddenly back to full HP, and Ryo is looking for something here with an aggressive charge in, but it's scouted out by the Boar, seeing some creeps bashed. Still Rave as far as overall farm goes. Looks like they hold the lead. But one more bad fight, and this could be back to dead even.
Yep.
If this was 6-8-3, the game would be pretty much 0 gold difference.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually.
Yep.
They do still hold the lead, so they can't afford to make a mistake like that again, like you said. Or in a way they can, because I actually, even come super late game, I think Rave have a decent shot. Like, they're not on a timer, really.
It's more I feel like this team just...
They're not as good at playing it.
Psychologically, if they're behind against EG after the start they had, I feel it's going to be difficult for them to maintain positive outlook that they can just turtle and turn the game.
And this makes it even worse.
Just confidently walking into the
such a good Aegis carrier.
Him and Storm. I think he's either tied with Storm or the second best Aegis carrier.
Because he really burns through his mana fast, and committing to kill a Leshrac gets your team, like, you take a lot of damage in turn.
Yeah.
If he precasts his ult even before you engage, then maybe it pulses like 4 or 5 times before you bring him down. Then he has the ult, especially if he gets Edict off, which even continues during Aegis.
And matchup-wise, you're up against Tiny Wisp. They want to be up in your face.
Yep.
Razor does as well. Even Spirit Breaker. A farmed Lesh, just as far as the lineups goes, very scary for Rave. That's where before they were able to combo Fear easily, but now it's not going to be the case. Not without a lot more items.
The Razor will have a BKB to stay alive, but it doesn't really feel like JO's doing that much damage in a team fight on Razor, even if he's BKB'd. Very reliant on the Tiny combo, as well as the Lion Finger, to me, is a must-use spell to burst down a hero at the start of a fight. That's where Rave are just not going to stand a chance in these like long, prolonged fights where they're not getting a pick off right away.
Yeah, you're going to see multiple shackles coming out. The Tombstone will start to really add up. The Boar's going to work the whole time. Leshrac in particular is going to do heavy lifting. I would agree.
And going back to the Razor pick itself, it was not a pick we were expecting because there's no really good hero to static link. It was
when
even
they
before
picked
the
it-
Wind Ranger pick.
Yeah, the best hero to static link it was picked before that is Ninja Boogie. Will get scouted out here. They want Chrissy though. They're gonna roar him, Cyclone up that Tiny and keep him out of the fight. They do get the Wisp, now looking for more. They swap in Cast, they'll find him too. EG. Decisive movements around the map. They know exactly what they want to do, and
Now they're out
finding the
of smokes.
pickoffs.
Dire's bottom
It does
tower
feel like
is
they've had
under
like an
attack.
infinite supply of them.
Now they need to wait for 9 minutes. So.
I mean, they've used the smokes to get back to even. If anything, it feels like they may be getting they're the ones with a bit more momentum right now, despite the net worth and experience difference.
And Lesh can quickly, Lesh Beastmaster with Necrobook, these towers will just melt. Any gold advantage accrued from towers will quickly
Radiant's middle
disappear.
tower is under attack.
They're not?
Radiant
Oh, now they're
structures
glyphing.
are fortified.
Took a little bit of extra damage on that tower, I guess.
I think it's going down either way.
Yeah.
Do they try for anything more here? They're still tier 1 bottom. So I think more likely back off, push out these lanes, and look towards that tier 2 if you're EG.
Samil, I feel like he just picked up that axe and has 3k gold.
There was a point this game where Rave's cores were just way ahead of EG. But now it's only that Tiny who's barely ahead.
5 gold.
A whopping 5 gold ahead.
Relocate. They found 1 kill.
Well, they'll take what they can get here. It is only the support Venge. Where do Rave go from here for you guys? Are they
Do
looking
they
to
have
just
smokes?
turbo farm? Well, I guess for now Ninja Boogie working on the stacks.
They've got 1 in the inventory. I don't know if they have more. Okay, 1 smoke and another 4 minutes. This is a lot of gold for Ninja Boogie.
If you're Rave, do you see them just waiting out the Aegis? Do they keep on trying for pickoffs? Once that Aegis is down, are they trying to team fight EG? Because to me it looks like EG is their best when they're team fighting.
I think you wait for the Aegis. I actually don't think they can win a fight right now against it. Because the problem is killing the Lesh, the only real tool they have for it is they either need to commit Nether Strike or Avalanche Toss, or probably both. He even has a Yule, so they need to combo it correctly. So in order to guarantee the kill, they need to commit a lot of abilities that will be on cooldown afterwards. And in the meantime, they're going to be tanking Tombstone, they're going to be tanking Necro 3 and Boars, and obviously going to get 2-man shackled because Sumail is really, like, whatever Sumail failed to do in the last game, he has really been playing for EG in this one.
That's where I feel like the Spirit Breaker has to really wreak havoc and not go for like the main target, but just charge on through, try hit as many people as possible with his stuns. He needs to be the one soaking up magic missiles, shackles, Yule scepters, and all that, so that the Tiny can do what he needs to do in a fight.
I think the best thing he can do on Spirit Breaker actually is just bully the Wind Ranger out of the fight all the time. Just charge the Wind Ranger and stay on her.
The problem is, though, they have Roar. They have an answer for charge, even with this BKB.
Are fortified.
But then they have to roar into a BKB and maybe not get a kill, and then the roar is used.
That is true.
But I mean, it's not.
EG are going to
not the
force a
best.
high ground defense here with Aegis in hand.
But this is Tiny Wisp, and they're off on the split push. I don't know if EG want to get into this trade. Both teams push pretty hard.
EG suddenly realized, wait a second.
And now the pursuit's coming in. The Couch charging
Oh,
bottom
this is
lane,
good
trying to
for
get
Rave
in nice
if
and
they
close.
catch
Can he
anyone.
get Fear? Just gets him. Relocate over the top.
That
The
is
Aegis is gone
huge.
too, but he can Bloodstone deny perhaps. Yule's coming out there, and he got PPD, and no, he's stunned. Can't get off the deny. Big pick off there. They're waiting for the Wisp to come back. Well,
Okay.
goodbye.
Wait.
Oh, is
Oh,
he invis?
Oh, he had a Shadow Blade.
And a Sentry. Shadowblade Wisp.
Pain.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if
That's
that
a
was
questionable
worth the
pickup.
investment.
Did he buy it just before he relocated back, or did he already have it? He must have just...
I think he just bought it.
They're already going to have detection for the Spirit Breaker. That seems like a questionable use of 2.8k gold now.
And the thing is, if he wanted to do that, I still think nowadays a better pickup would be a Glimmer Cape.
Right.
Sure, maybe you only get 5 seconds of invisibility, but you could probably maybe juke into the trees or get a tether or whatever. Like,
Okay,
it's
but-
such a high-risk purchase. Like, it's 3k gold.
You could
Now
have...
you could have like the Wisp, but now you can have like the Wisp Spirit Breaker like tethered double Shadowblade charging around the
That's
map
true.
together. Or you could just relocate.
Do you-
So do you really need the Shadowblade?
Do you see the tether if they're both invis?
I'm not sure actually. That's
I don't
a good
think
question.
you do. I don't think you do. The problem is the timing window. Like, if Spirit Breaker charges, you need to cast the tether as late as possible, so Wisp takes the longest possible time to catch up to him. It's really, really tricky to me. You see, now it's gonna happen. Now it's gonna break. So. I mean, it's cute and all, but they actually just now they have double Shadow Blade against a team with Necro.
They are going to find Sumail. In comes the Wisp as well as the Lion. Nicely done. They get the pick off. Stun is off the mark, but so too is Fear. A double whiff. Chrissy just trying to make his way out of here. He's tanky. A second. Oh, can't quite.
It felt like they could fight that, but I think the Wisp accidentally left Tiny top.
Oh, he relocated someone else in, didn't he?
No, he by himself. He relocated in and then tethered the Spirit Breaker who initiated, but...
Yeah. So 1 for 1. It's still a good trade for Rave. They trade their position 4 for position, well, technically 3 on EG, but has the second highest farm. And Beastmaster in this game actually is position 3 played mid, and Wind Ranger's position 2 played off. So yeah, 4 for 2 trade in terms of farm priority. Yeah, I'm not sure. How is the graph developing? I feel like, yeah, they're gaining a little bit. That's what I was gonna say, but. Oh, wow, that's a lot of experience. That's more than I thought it would be. And Lion almost level 11 now. Cast has really been playing... Like, it's funny, their team has been looking really good, but he's kind of felt like he's been playing from behind. But now, closing in at level 11 with the Blink Dagger, maybe a Force Staff soon to come, or a Glimmer Cape.
I mean, if you keep on saying it, someone's going to buy it.
Yeah,
so
well...
You'll be right.
The item just is that good, it seems.
It seems like the game plan for Rave right now is just keep throwing these Shadow Blade charges around and then relocate for the kills. Keep the pressure on EG.
Or force EG to rotate, and then you just farm.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good for Rave if they can make it happen.
Gem pick up by Beastmaster, so has got that detection.
So much for your double Shadow Blade. We'll see if it... We'll see how much this punishes them.
I think the third... I definitely remember that EGM Shadow Blade game.
Maybe there's been more, just not recorded, but that is I think there's a... Generally, if you want that mobility item, we've seen a lot more of, like, the Blink Dagger, for example.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, Tiny does have an eggs. He is firmly back in terms of net worth on top. Still, though, it feels like Farm Tiny alone is going to be tough. You focus fire for him, the Roar. Sure, you can relocate him out, but then you're fighting without the Tiny for quite a long time. And that's where I think for Rave, everybody has to stay relevant and continue to farm as this game moves along.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker is a hero that can actually scale decently with the right itemization. And Razor, too. He's got Mech and BKB and Razor now. I think Axe is probably the next choice. And then after that, since Tiny is probably getting the Cuirass, I think an item that could be nice for Rave on the Razor is actually a Shiva's Guard. Just a lot of AoE slow against all these, like against the Boars, against the Necro Book. Attack speed slow is nice in general against... It kind of evens out the Beastmaster Aura, so that one is negated. And it's not that uncommon of a pickup on Razor, actually.
Oh, this will not be expected by Sumail. He is barely outside of the base, getting deep charged, and there's a relocate coming. He's going to get caught out here. Reinforcements are nearby, but not right on top of him. Dead.
Oh!
No, the Swamp Mech combo. What a turn. They save him. Now they're going to lose Chrissy. Ninja Boogie left alone. He's getting slowed up by the board. TP out. Focus fire. Can't get him in time. Ryo's going to walk away. Oh, man. PPD with the big saves. And they will lose the Spear Breaker potentially. Stun comes out. Axe is coming through. And they bring him down with the Lash. That was a risky play, especially at that tier 2 up mid. But it could have worked for Rave if that Venge wasn't ready.
And instead, it's 2 deaths in a row.
And what do you know, Roche?
It's easy to look at the outcome and say Rave shouldn't have gone for that, but I'm like, that to me is like a decent play to go for.
Yeah.
You're not expecting the Venge to be there right behind him, like already in position. I mean, I feel like for EG, that was a bit of luck that the Venge just happened to be there with the swap.
Yeah, because that was not what PPD was preparing for. He was actually just standing behind mid.
They did not know that was coming. There's no ward on the bottom side of the map. He got charged when he was up on the high ground at his tier 3, but it was still kind of risky just because of how close they were to the tier 2.
Yeah.
Still, though, Razor gets the eggs, so they are farming on these other 2 cores, and I think that's where Rave still have a very good shot as this moves towards the late game, even though there's a lot of ways to deal with Tiny. Potentially, at some point, you're going to see the Shivas, Refresher, and AC in the mix. We'll take a look at this one again. But yeah, there was a swap, a mech came out as well, right as he got swapped.
He tossed the Wisp. That was the other thing there. If he tossed Sumail, it's a kill.
That's a good point.
And now you can't blame it on luck anymore. That's just a misplay now, actually.
Meanwhile, Razor dies top lane. EG.
Can we get an instant replay of that, too?
Are we going to be playing catch-up the rest of the day?
The rest of the game, watched in replay.
Charge on mid, onto AUI. Relocate through. He dropped the tombstone already. And Shadow Blade away.
Change of plans.
Yeah. I'll see you later, guys.
I mean, it's a nice regret item.
This is
oops.
This was a big mistake getting the Shadow Blade.
Mistakes were made.
Is he's actually upgrading it into Silver Edge.
So with that, you can remove what is this best at dealing with? The Inner Beast, I guess. The Venjara. Does it remove the evasion when Windrunner's using Windrun?
No,
I don't think
that's
a
an active,
buff,
right?
not a.
It breaks passives, but does it break auras?
Yeah, that's what I was looking. I'm like, I know it breaks passives. Auras are passives.
I think it breaks them, but
Okay.
still,
That's still
even
weird.
if it does, it's not like there's like a faceless void or something where
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the situation where normally you'd see a Silver Edge. And
Maybe Rave's idea is we go late game, so now we'll just turn our Wisp into a core as well.
Daedalus for Chrissy next.
I mean, it's a strength hero, so actually the Sanj isn't a bad item in general.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
It's
maybe
decent
he's
dog.
actually just gonna build like say a halberd instead, and we'll just hold.
Yeah,
the
he
Shadow
can.
Blade.
You can disassemble Silver Edge, right?
I'm not sure.
Or wait, it has a recipe. I don't think you can. Sure, actually.
Yeah, he could just sit on the Sanj, build up a halberd, which would be great against Windranger as
He
well.
definitely wants to tank up in general, just try to stay alive, because he's always the focus for EG. You kill him, then you kill the Wisp.
That's true. Tiny
It
does
seems
get an
odd.
AC here.
It actually would be really funny if he's trying to build a halberd and then he picks up the Sanj and oh shit, it got a Silver Edge. But there is a recipe, so.
Well, you guys talked about it. This Ags Daedalus item or build up for Sumail, and he's got it now. This is a lot of burst versus the Wisp. And versus towers.
This time EG go for a push. There's no tiny split push to worry about, and
They're going to try to force this one. Rave.
Oh, that's confident.
Minute
This
and a
is
half on
a
Aegis.
bold move by EG. And yeah, like you said, I think while the Aegis is up, they want to make the most of it. Glyph will be forced out. Sumail continues to work on the tower here from the low ground, and they're going to lose a tier 3 if they don't react soon. Not wanting to initiate into this Aegis, just trying to hold the line in the meanwhile. Shackle shot comes out, won't connect. Roar as well. On to Cast they go. They swap Universe out. He barely survives the avalanche. Will find a PPD going to drop as well. But everybody trying to fight from the high ground here.
Nice
now they
nether strike.
jump down onto Sumail. Stun comes
nice
out. It's
stun.
a twofer from Cast, and the follow-up's going to come. Chuck through a triple for Ninja Boogie. They charge onto Sumail. They might get them all. Fear dead. Aegis is there, but he's going to be the last man standing. Another beatdown. It's an ultra kill, and they want more. TP out his
Toss.
third. Chuck, he's got him. Team wipe as EG get punished.
oh my god, they can go for racks here. They're going to force out buybacks.
Rave
This
looking
is
to make
terrible
this
for
the
EG.
first 3-game series of the Summit 3.
Great reload. They're going to
Double
bring it back, I
buyback.
think. Yeah, they can't ditch the Tiny there. They don't know who else has buybacks at that point.
That
but
was so big for Rave.
Tiny probably could have held his own against Beastmaster Undying, but that would be high risk. And here we
There's
go.
your Silver Edge. Get hyped. Daedalus is coming.
Rave are looking like they have this game at this point.
And if they win this game, and EG look at game 1 and notice they were behind early, it was more the mistakes of Rave that allowed them to easily turn that game than anything else. Do they worry about the Wisp? What a fight this was.
Notice at the end of this when Lesh dies that there's like a big B in the mid-air because he dies with Bloodstone like after toss. That's what I was laughing at. It looked really
The tiny avalanche from the high ground actually hit 3 heroes. Finished off Universe, who was almost swapped to safety. Then they get the 2-hero follow-ups on the Earth Spike from the Lion. Just really, we talked
and then
about...
they don't show it.
And no, we don't. That's okay.
Boo!
But I feel
Production.
like their focus fire has just been a lot better as the fights have moved along. You brought it up earlier, David. They seemed a little unsure of who to go on, but now they have a very clear game plan.
Nice.
Lots
I
of
love seeing
sword.
Lotus Orb. I think it's the first time it's been picked up in the tournament.
Great against a lot of these
If
heroes.
you can time this, so there's a couple of really cool interactions here. Roar, an obvious one.
Shackle.
Roar's back. Shackle shot actually just fires it back at Windranger.
How does it work with the swap? Do you
They
just,
stay in place.
Do you just swap?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you basically don't swap positions.
That's
Does it
very-
show the animation though, like you just like in quickly, or?
I think it makes the sound, but you don't really see them swap places, right?
Okay.
But it's also really good against Lightning Storm. It fires an entire Lightning Storm back, so you slow the entire enemy team too. It's It's really good.
They're going to make the go, charge on the Sumail. EG are waiting for this, but they might not even have a chance to get out. They won't. Tombstone gets beaten down. They roar Ninja Boogie, but again, the Spirit Breaker moves in. Fingers there, and J.O.'s on the hunt. He wants PPD. He's going to find him. They continue pursuit. Ninja Boogie going in hot and heavy, looking for AUI. Clobbers him down too. It's 3 dead. There's the 3-hero ledge stun. Another charge onto the old man. They go. Can they focus him in time? He does have the Bloodstone deny, I believe. Turns. Yule Scepter, bringing them even lower. Can't finish the job. It's an unstoppable streak for Ninja Boogie. And that's 2 diebacks, I believe, for EG. Universe gonna end up making a T-Boy Brave. Looking like they may force that deciding game 3 the way they're playing.
0 buybacks. This should be at least 1 lane of racks.
You know,
Kings towards top, but they need creeps on the high ground.
This team has gotten a lot of flack, a lot of heat. They did not get invited directly to TI. It was Malaysia who got the nod from Southeast Asia. Rave came into this tournament generally, honestly, not getting respected by the community. Most of the casters here, ourselves included, didn't give them a huge shot to take the series. But here they are. They're going to take 1 lane of Rex top. They may move on to mid for a second. And with that, EG are going to be up against it.
Whoopsie.
Oh, that could hurt.
He's going to take a lot of damage from this Wind Ranger.
They can't relocate him out because of the BKB and costly death.
Yeah, that was a bit iffy.
I got a little too excited.
Yeah,
and they're going to lose the Wisp as well.
That was just like one of those...
This is where he sells the urn and buys a blink too.
And then that would be the miracle play. Okay, or just run to the north.
Oh, nice shit.
That is costly, though. Rave getting a little excited, and 2 big deaths there. Still, though, in a great position.
Still a losable game against a Wind Ranger, but...
They have double buyback. I think if you're EG, you'd like to force that, and it looks like they will try to barrel down mid.
And we're entering epic territory. 5 seconds
Whoa.
from 40 minutes of Dota 2. Here we go.
40-minute Dota games.
Nice.
Late game.
I need like some caffeine or something. Casting 40-minute games, come on. This is too long for me.
This takes me back to 5 days ago.
Classic Dota 2.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this in a very long
5 days ago, exactly. Red Bull Battlegrounds finals.
Okay, they force out 1 buyback. Can they force out the second here?
The push from EG is not... the edict definitely hurts, but you don't want fear on the front lines where he could get burst down quickly, even with the swap out.
Or even that blink toss back, where then you potentially can't swap him.
The
level 3 swap
problem
now.
is there's burst damage from an Avatos finger that the swap sometimes just doesn't come in time, even if you're ready with it and in position. The Leshrac has HP to survive it, but Wind Ranger maybe slightly less so.
I mean, for EG right now, it's very clear. They want Spirit Breaker to go on them and then just destroy him immediately to start the fight. But wisely, he's not going to commit to a charge. He will just back off. We're seeing big items come out. Daedalus now the pickup for Tiny.
And still preserving his buyback.
Still, if it's only Tiny, I mean, we saw the last fight. He can be dealt with by Wind Ranger's Focus Fire, by Roar, the Boar. Rave have to be fighty as a team, and it will be double Silver Edge. They're not going to relocate onto mid and start working on the tower. Little rat Dota action coming your way. They may lose Chrissy. Shackle won't connect, though. And he does walk away. Roar, Necro Book, they need that burn, and they'll get him.
That's an 80-second respawn.
That's a dieback for the Wisp.
Oh, and look again. There's another Roche, actually.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
I feel like this has happened. Is this the 3rd time in the game that they die right before Roshan spawns?
That was,
and that was about like the middle of the road as far as respawn.
That was just so silly to go for that play when you're ahead.
Yeah. These are the kind of desperation plays you make while you're almost losing your own racks and you can't fight. But
yeah, I remember talking to Envy on the couch, like, what do you do in these really bad, like, behind position? He's like, oh, sometimes you just suicide push, where you just push a lane, you know you're going to die, but you force the other team to come back, you get some farm along the way, spend all your money, and he actually calls it suicide pushing, and that's kind of what that reminds me of,
well,
but you do it when you're behind.
Not a lot of pushing.
Yeah, it's not a play you want to make when you're this, like, in a comfortable position.
Well, EG are going to press
suicide,
in.
20% push.
They know there's no buyback available for the Wisp for 30 seconds. And they may strike right back with a lane of racks to call their own. Now Sumail blinking in, goes for the shackle the other way. Ninja Boogie will engage as well. Now the stun, great from the south side by the Lion, trying to keep the backline heroes away. Chase on the AUI gets bashed back. They may lose cast as the trade. Fear will bring him down, but 2 drop. Now a chuck forward. 1 big toss for Rave, and another giant leap perhaps as they'll look to bring down Universe. Can he make his way out of here? Gets beaten down next to the big creeps, and I don't think they got Rex yet. Fear will TP out.
Relocate, Tiny.
Too late.
No, ever. Okay.
They needed that, but still,
His
in the
blink
end,
on
they hold the
cooldown
lane
too.
of Rex. EG do not get Roshan. And at this point, Rave should know Rosh is up because it's pretty much the max possible respawn.
What's unfortunate about that, though, is that now they could have made that relocate play they just did. And they could relocate into the base and get a tier 3 tower at least, with 3 heroes on EG dead, but they went for the Lesh kill.
Yep.
Still getting Rosh is definitely good enough as
Wow.
well.
Seems Wepis is thinking about a Moon Shard here.
For
Yeah.
old Tiny. That'd be... I mean,
Definitely an item you'll want at some point for Tiny. I don't know if it's
For
the
sure.
next item, but
Well, he's full, right?
I guess so.
He could
Replace the
he
blink.
could sell his blink, but
That's true.
I feel like it's actually doing a lot of work for now.
Yeah, it allows you to go for those rat plays a lot more, where you can go in, hit the racks a few times or the tower, and then blink away.
That's the second highest GPM since DAC at minute 40.
Okay.
And it's only 700. I remember, was that in the TI 3 compendium? There was a prediction, will the highest GPM be over or under 800? Wasn't there something like that? Mm-hmm. And there was one over, which was a Tiny, I think. Had like a Soxka got 810 or something, I believe. But it actually sounds low for me that the second highest GPM since DAC, that's like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
It's only 700 at minute 40. I mean, only. It's still super high, but
unlike you don't see 1K GPM games. That's like a pub game thing though. Like to me,
yeah, sure.
But
to
over
me,
800 is quite different from over 1,000.
yeah. I think 800 is like as high as it really goes for competitive Dota. Apart from those really stomp games where teams are an obvious mismatch and for whatever reason they don't GG out.
yeah.
If there's a hero with over 800 GPM, the game should probably be GG'd earlier.
I wonder what the stat looked like if you go back like a year or so, though, because I think a lot
Yeah.
of that may just be the rubber band, where once you're ahead,
think
it's
so,
much
too.
easier for your opponents to get to a point where you can't just keep on racking up kills. You lose that one fight, suddenly they have a lot more map control. They can actually get active and try and slow you down.
And a lot of it may be also that the heroes that farm really fast and get those ridiculous GPMs aren't really picked. Alchemist and Anti-Mage, we
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
see that much.
And even Doom, I guess, to
they're
some
yeah,
extent.
and Doom.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Tiny is pretty much the only one of those like ridiculously fast farmers that does get picked regularly.
There's going to be a charge and a very dead Hawk.
This
They
Radiant
have the
Ward has been
refresher on
there
Jo.
for a long time.
Jo has Aegis. He has refresher. This is a good time for Rave to look to siege, and they're not even going to throw the Tiny in. He's heading maybe towards top, looking for the jump. Goes on to fear off the bat, dunked low, not finished off. They get off for Roars. Ninja Boogie is held in place, but Jo is doing work on the tower. So too is Sumail, and Ninja Boogie, he may go down here, kept alive for now. Barely surviving, finally falls to the tombstone, but they're getting
They're
Jo
gonna relocate back in.
Relocate, coming back, they have the Aegis. They have a second life here. Finger doesn't finish Fear, though. So close to getting the kill. They gotta finish the tombstone. The Shackle connects on 2. The damn thing's still going the whole time. Echo Shell, though, will protect Jo as they try to turn on him. Glyph forced out. They've used up their Aegis. They only got the tier 3, and I think now Rave are gonna have to back
They
off.
bought back Tiny. They want to play
That's
careful.
a really big hold for EG.
That
they
was
played into
very well done.
Aegis, they played into Refresher.
Only the
Let's
2
buy
kills
back.
and a 1 buyback, but that is a massive swing for EG. And with the Aegis down, Rave lose a lot of momentum.
And the thing about that fight was, it was Rave that initiated. They jumped onto the Lesh, they comboed him, instant swap and instant soul rip, and he's just back to full. And that means you've committed your Tiny into the middle of the fight. He has used his combo to almost no avail. Like he got pretty much nothing out of it apart from forcing a swap, which I guess is decent, but soul rip doesn't really matter that much. It's not that long of a cooldown. And
Tiny just
all of
feels
a
he just feels so vulnerable to the Wind Ranger in these fights, and when he BKBs, the Wisp can't save him.
Look at it. It feels like they're sieging the base. Tiny Ninja Boogie blinking out. They're getting impatient. That's what
Right,
what
he
it
actually
seems to
got
come
less
down
than
to.
I thought.
Look how quickly the Wind Ranger kills him, though. That's where Tiny is just gonna need his teammates to do some work here for him. He can't just jump in and expect to win that
He
fight.
can't jump in, I feel, unless he's jumping in on the Wind Ranger and they burst down Wind Ranger. If he's jumping on the
Yes.
Leshrac is a bad idea. Because Wind Ranger, that means Wind Ranger is sitting back, focus firing you. Even if you kill the Leshrac and you get that burst off, Leshrac can maybe buy back.
And
you're likely to die to focus fire regardless.
Where-
It just seems like a bad target.
Yeah,
for Tiny.
whereas if the Lesh is the one that is like hitting you, he doesn't hit nearly as hard as the Wind Ranger at this stage of the game. Not on a single target like that. Especially
Actually,
not a Tiny with a BKB.
I think the best target to jump is the Venge, if they can. But PPD
It's
is
hard. He's
generally
got
in a
level
good
3
position.
swap as
Yeah.
well now, so
He's in a good
it's-
position.
He's always, the furthest back and kind of near the Wind Ranger, it seems.
But yeah, I would agree, especially at the Deso that was just picked up by this Wind Ranger.
man.
Has to be the first priority. Has the Venjar as well. I don't know if we've talked much about that.
Oh, we did mention that.
I wonder if
earlier.
there's some item that Tiny replaces Blink with to help like stand up against Wind Ranger. Like if you'd consider getting something like Evasion or...
Blade Mail?
Yeah, Blade Mail could be quite
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I guess Wind Ranger would just reply with a BKB, but you could have
Then
a
she has
window
to get a
where...
BKB.
Yeah, and you could have a window where she can't buy a BKB.
She
and you
does,
just
she
push
does
with
not have
Blade
the
Mail.
gold right now. That's quite a ways off.
It's actually maybe the best item for Tiny just for that single purpose, but the question is if you want to itemize for that single purpose.
Yeah.
Because it does
He's
very little apart
slot.
from
He's
that.
very slot challenged, and that's where maybe the Moon Shard is something you consider here for Ninja Boogie as well.
He definitely will get a Moon Shard no
At
matter
some
what
point,
at some
yeah.
point, but
I don't know if it's the next item though.
Well, depending when the game ends, but...
yeah.
Yeah, if it goes long enough, he'll definitely get one at some point.
Rave, they...
Question is if
This was Rave's game. It just feels like a few really...
It was they got the
Big
lane of
mistakes.
Brax, they could have just backed.
And the Tiny got picked off. Then they
the
did that
Wisp
relocate
dies.
mid.
Yeah.
That push there, I felt like they could have pushed the tier 3 tower without initiating and taking with 0 risk. Pushing the racks is a little harder because they have to go higher into the base, but they could have just slow sieged, it felt like, with the Razor only. They don't even need the Tiny to be the one pushing and attacking.
Even in game 1, it felt like Rave had a really nice start, and they kind of gave a lot of that. It wasn't a massive lead by any means, but it was a decent lead, and they were the ones whose mistakes just allowed EG to walk right back into the game. But they are showing when they bring that A game that they can go blow for blow here.
They're
It's
not
just
a
about the
polished team, but
consistency.
they're really good when they're being aggressive. Their early game is one of the best of any team in the tournament, but their mid to late game is a bit unrefined.
Well, I mean, you would think that would be fine in this tournament because most games are 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
But of course, now it's a 50-minute game, our longest by far of the Summit 3. This is tense. Woo! Closing in on 30.
it's increased the average time by more than 2.
One for, I don't. What record book are we keeping this one in? Here comes Ryo from the side. He finds Sumail to get off the finger off the bat. There's the swap, though. And Sumail is going to be glimmered back to safety.
Yeah.
Now Jo engages, pops the refresher. He's going for the double ultimate. Sumail may want to go in here. He gets shackled. The Echo Shell working against him, but they're not going to follow this up. And Jo using that refresher like this EG might just want to back off and wait for a second. Wait for that first Razor ult to die down. That's both BKBs down, both ultimates down for the Razor. He's lost a lot of his fighting power now. But at the same time, they are going high ground here. It's a bit risky. EG don't want to chance it against relocate into their base.
Yep.
So they say, we're up against Tiny, let's go push that top lane out.
The new items really change how fights go down, because before, like Solar Crest, before the Glimmer Cape, you would never want to have your Wind Ranger on the front lines, because you just lose one of your most important damage dealing heroes to burst damage. With Glimmer Cape, with Solar Crest, the swap as well, but I think even with the swap alone maybe not enough in some situations.
And the other they're going to go mid right now. Hold that thought. Avalanche only onto Fear, though. Sumail's gotten to sit back this whole fight. Nether Strike does find him. Nicely done by Ryo to keep him back, but PPD survives for now, and Sumail's just waiting for that opening to go in. They'll bring down the Lion. Rave suddenly on the run. The roar onto Ryo. The two heroes shackle. Jo trapped. Ryo charges away to freedom, but he gets swapped back in into the middle of EG, and Sumail's going to finish him. Fear gets the last hit. It's 4 dead. They all have buybacks. Razor uses his immediately.
Guess will respawn soon after a fight Rave lost.
Oh, jeez. And they still only have that one rack.
That is a really questionable call. First of all, pushing like that without the refresher and Razor,
that really makes the hero.
It was a really big risk for. I don't think they were threatened in any way that they had to go for that play.
If they're buying back, they better do it right now, or these racks are dead. They buy back the Wisp, but nobody else just yet. Lion will as well. Spearbreaker's still holding his. They're trying not to spend them all, but EG are going to wait for the full set of buybacks, and they'll get the racks anyway. No Spearbreaker buyback. EG just say, okay, we'll take the racks for free. We'll back off. Now, technically an even game as far as racks go, but looking very much like EG has the edge here in the fights.
There we go.
Oh, God. The Octarine core of Doom. I've been
saw
wanting
the
to see
shivers
this. We talked a lot about this at Red Bull. We never saw it. This is very scary.
Yeah. It felt like an item you'd maybe get even earlier, but he opted for like Shivers and a few other big items earlier, but
And as we've talked about, it feels like Sumail's the one you have to focus, and that allows Fear to just do so much work in these fights.
Focusing one hero is just so much more difficult. The Glimmer Cape every time is coming out, and that's where AUI's played a solid game on this Undying. He's the Soul Rip as well, the Swap. It's just a combined team effort to prevent Rave from being able to focus anyone down.
Honestly, the Swap is just ruining them. Like, they're not even roaring the Spirit Breaker most fights before he initiates, but then whoever gets jumped on just gets swapped away. And Rave just don't have the follow-up. They don't have, like, that, say, Faceless Void hero that can lock both heroes down and prevent a swap retreat. They get countered by it too hard.
What's a 6-slotted Leshrac now?
Oh boy.
He just leaves everything on if he wants to. The cooldown on these spells gets ridiculously short as well because of the Octarine Core.
Yikes.
The issue Rave has right now is, as far as single target damage goes, you compare a hero like Razor to a hero like Windranger, where you have 2 Eyes of the Storm, which are ridiculous for damage output, but you can't target them. So how do they actually kill Leshrac now? They have a Tiny who's a spread damage late game carry. He crits for a lot, right? But
he's not attacking that much.
But he can't. It's not like a Void or like the Windranger who just really just lays into a single target and brings it down very easily.
That we saw
or
last
Clinks,
game.
for example, yeah. So how do they approach killing this Lesh? And more importantly, there's now an Aegis on Sumail. They actually don't have a key target to initiate on reliably.
Top tower has fallen.
This fight is, like, even without even looking at the graph, like, let's say the net worth is 10k in Rave's favor, I still think they're the underdog for this fight now. Like,
we
this
used to
Aegis
look at
is-
Tiny
well,
Wisp
they're
as,
not.
like,
Okay.
first
Wow,
time
what a
this game, EG. on
Mount
top.
Everest.
And they're going in. Fear, along with Sumail in the front lines, confident in their ability to do this push and they'll continue to lay into these buildings. They take down the tier 3. They're going to lose melee racks momentarily. Still
Rave
not
are just
going.
watching. I mean, I don't know what the move is as far as engaging. Maybe you try and smoke and flank them from behind, but I don't think a head-on engagement works.
I don't think they have the heroes for it.
They need to like smoke and just do that kind of desperation wrap around from behind, try and focus down the Venge at the side of the fight, and then move on to someone else.
I think they made the right
could
call.
be pretty good, though.
I think they made the right call sacrificing that barracks, actually. Cool.
Fear does have the Bloodstone, though. 13 charges, and does get the initial stun. Relocate's going to come in now. They'll bring down the Leshrac, it looks like. No, Yules. Bloodstone denied. Doesn't even need it. He's surviving for a while here. They blink forward again. The Shiva's gone. They can't kill the horse, and now the turn. Relocate back. Okay, let's get the hell out of
Where's
here.
the boomerang?
Ryan said, I'm going the other way. Okay, I'll see you later.
All right, Ninja Boogie, careful.
What was that? That angle. Wow.
That boomerang.
Jesus.
All right, so to explain that top fight, if they try to fight for the Rex there, the game is over, I think. They're fighting into Aegis. There's a cheese as well on one of EG's heroes. I'm not sure who has it right now. Rather, like, if they can... It's Undying. Okay, so if they can fight for the third Rex after the Aegis expires, it's worth sacrificing a lane for. And EG did choose to pull back because their bottom lane was almost pushed into the tier 3, and that opens up for the relocate trades. So... It's funny to see Rave making such an aggressive play in the mid lane 3 minutes ago where they completely overextend without having their abilities.
Oh, they are going in on
call.
Sumail here. They found him off the bat. PPD got blasted back a little bit, but they will survive for now. And now the BKBs are on cooldown. This is EG's time to make a move in. Sumail Blake forward, and he is going to get the shackle on 2 follow-up. Jo, though, is in the middle of it all. EG going to take heavy damage to the Razor. He'll lose Sumail. He's got the Aegis. Fear's going to drop. Is it EG's
His life
turn to
steal.
overextend?
He's just life stealing with
for
his
now.
with
They
his
chuck up
Octarine
the
Core.
Wind Ranger. Jo continues to just pound away here. This Razor double ulti doing insane damage. Now, AUI on the run. The buyback comes out for the Wind Ranger. They're going to lose the Undying. Fear 2 will fall. That's 3 dead with a buyback. TP in from Sumail. Charge onto Universe. Shackle finds Ryo. Maybe Rave have overextended. They're going to lose Ryo. He has the buyback. EG going again. A long grade swap. That's the power of the level 3 swap, and there's no Razor refresher. Does he have the buyback? No, he's dead for 110. EG just having an extra life
Did they go
here.
for throne?
I think
They're pinging it. EG just bought back in TP. EG do not have TPs. Tiny is going for the throne. This is actually going to be close. This is with Tiny.
Is it? He's going in. He's going to buy the Mask of Madness quickly from the enemy.
Drop your blink. Drop your blink.
He's going in right now. Meanwhile, on the Radiant base, they're going to work as well.
Faster,
they
Ninja
need
Boogie.
a little more damage. EG with the Wind Ranger. They have the glyph available on both sides, and it looks like EG is ahead for now. Structures are falling, though. Beautiful
Ryu can slow him down.
Universe trying to finish the jump, and it's not actually that close in the end. Oy, oy, oy. That was still a very intense game, and even Rave, they had it, man. They had it.
That was a close throne race in the end. Like, that was EG like, wait, we just bought back and TP'd in, so all their TPs were on cooldown. Definitely a moment of panic for them when you have a Wisp Tiny in your base and you still have to go through tier 4 towers and throne.
Disappointing way for Rave to go out, but they showed that they can hang with teams like EG. It's just, can they make consistent decisions in the clutch? Because if they played this game right, it was their win.
100%. That was. It's funny that the first game we get that goes beyond like 35 minutes is also. I don't want to call it a mega throw, but it's a pretty big.
It was
they
a
had
20k gold lead with Tiny Wisp, a lane of Rax advantage.
And it was just the types of mistakes they made, where the Tiny blinking in, missing Avalanche, and just feeding away in silly fashion. The Wisp relocate mid. A few just really poor decisions.
I feel like you look at this game, and this is where Rave just needs more experience in these types of situations, because they showed they have the individual skill, they can draft well enough, lane well enough, make good enough decisions to get up that far on a team like EG.
Yeah. Well, EG, they stay alive. They're going to go against Cloud9 again.
A lot of people looked at those groups and were expecting Vici will just move on. Vici is really strong right now. And then it's either EG or Cloud9 going home, and it seems that will be the case. We're not going to find out in the next match, but the one after that, that'll be really juicy.
Yeah, this Group A is heating up. Sorry, Synd.
I think EG need to play stronger than this against Cloud9. I don't think it's enough. Like, I mean, not taking anything away from Rave, who they did a good job right in this game. They got a big advantage, but EG, this type of performance, it needs to be more crisp going against Cloud9. I think the mistakes that Rave makes, if you imagine this kind of game with the Cloud9 lead, I don't think they throw that away. Even though historically they have had they have struggled to end games, but generally not when they have like an IO.
And Cloud9 also feels a little more polished now than they did. Like that was when they had just changed the roster, and I mean, let's be honest, it was mainly that one game with no TPs that everyone looks bad. It's like, okay, Cloud9 throws, but that's one game, and there was many where they closed them out as well.
Yeah.
EG's early game looks really weak in general. I think that's something. I mean, that's where teams like Vici Gaming and Cloud9, if they get a good early game lead, they win the game and crush you in 20, 30 minutes. Seems like Rave just doesn't quite have the same performance to do the same thing, but they need to really shape up in the early game.
I mean, looking at the picks, like the picks are not particularly weak laning heroes either. Lesh is strong in the laning stage. Venge is pretty good. They had Undying, Wind
Their
Ranger.
Undying play has been very unimpressive in the laning stage. They have never dominated the lanes with Undying. They picked it twice, and both times their lanes suffered. That's the opposite of what Undying is meant to do.
Normally a team picks Undying, like looking at what happened at Red Bull, it's like they just destroy
If I'm the EG coach, I'm telling guys, don't pick Undying. This hero doesn't work for us. It worked that game because it got to his mid-game play was good. He had some good AUI had some good tombstones, some clutch soul rips, good glimmer capes, but I feel like the lanes just I don't know. Didn't really cut it.
You could imagine this game where they run an aggressive Charlie instead. Like let's imagine PPD's Venge was playing the bottom lane. What was the lane they were up
Wind
against?
Ranger, Undying against.
And there was Razor Lion.
Yeah.
They could have pushed that tower like minute 4, and they could have just killed the heroes behind the tower. Even if Wisp TP's in, Wisp can't help against that in the first few minutes. Like,
And you don't want the Wisp there. You want the Wisp getting the runes, applying pressure, and the Wisp ended up doing a lot of work. Sniping the courier. Chrissy, to me, even though they lost, though, overall he played just amazingly well and showed his versatility here. He got 2 courier snipes this series. He ends up that game he had level 6 at like 6 minutes in, basically. Got a lot of runes. I hope we get to see more of him in the future.
Yeah. Rave, unfortunately, going to be going home. Our first team knocked out of the Summit 3 by Gigabyte here on day 3. We got 3 more teams to knock out, though. Whew.
You're just bloodthirsty.
I am. Look, we're going to take a break, guys.
He's like, yeah.
I want to see who those teams are getting knocked out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to think and dwell over who is going home next. But for now, guys, stay tuned. You're watching the Summit 3. Myself, Synd, and LD, we'll be back after a quick break. See you guys then.